It's great to have you back. This is the South African Morning. Now, today is the final day of interviews for the country's new Chief Justice. Acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo will be in the hot seat today, and he's one of 4 nominees for the position. Legal Practice Counsel Greta Engelbrecht joins us now to discuss the critical role that lies ahead for the Chief Justice. Greta, good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time this morning. I suppose before we get into the role that lies ahead for the incoming Chief Justice, what do you make of the quality of the JSC interviews so far?
It's of course always difficult to comment on that process. It is a very important process, and unfortunately it is sometimes not one that brings out all of the intellectual qualities of the judges that appear before it. It sometimes devolves into more personal and more political discussions. But overall, it does give South Africans a view into the people who are up for this position. And as a transparent democracy, it is a very important function that is being fulfilled.
Absolutely. And with that being said, the critical role that you think lies ahead for the new Chief Justice, what does it look like?
The Chief Justice is, of course, the head of the judiciary, and the judiciary is the bulwark against abuses and against the power of the state. And so the Chief Justice has an immensely important role. And that Chief Justice must not only be an excellent lawyer and excellent judge, but also a very good administrator. Because it's no worth having access to justice ideals, but not having a court system to which we can enjoy access to justice. And backlogs and norms and standards that don't achieve access to justice must be addressed as a matter of some urgency.
Right. Yeah, if I could just jump in there, Greta, just following up on your point, do you think there's a lot of work that lies ahead in terms of restoring the credibility of the courts, the credibility of the JSC? I mean, some of the questions and concerns raised yesterday were around some of the perceptions that South Africans have on certain courts in South Africa.
Yes. When you are, as the judiciary is, when you are in the position of speaking truth to power, as it were, you're always going to be subject to criticism. I don't believe that there is at the moment a reason for South Africans to not have faith in the judiciary. As always, one will have different judges, we have different courts, and maybe the quality is not consistent across all courts, and that's why norms and standards imposed by the Chief Justice are important. But as a general rule, we have a good system. We have excellent judges. As we have seen now with these interviews, we are privileged to have such a wonderful pool of people to choose from as Chief Justice. And yes, the Chief Justice will have to show that he or she has the ability to keep that faith in the system. Yeah. But I don't believe that the system is broken.
Right. What lessons do you think the new Chief Justice, Greta, though, can learn from the controversy surrounding the former Chief Justice, Mogoeng? Also, questions again raised during, J.P. Dunstan Mlambo's interview yesterday around some relationships that perhaps some judges may enjoy with politicians. What are some of the lessons do you think we can extrapolate from, the former Chief Justice apology, but also the controversy that surrounded him quite recently?
Yes, it's very important. We understand that judges, just like us, are normal people and they hold certain personal views. But judges do assume the role of their position. And it's very important that they don't enter the political arena, precisely because people will come before them and politicians will come before them, parties will come before them. And if the suspicion is created that they may be leaning in one direction or another because of their public engagements, that creates a problem for faith in the judiciary. It's extremely important that we always understand that we're getting a fair hearing.
Yeah.
And it's not for judges to enter the political arena.
Greta, with that being said, do you think there will be scrutiny with the new incoming Chief Justice regarding transformation? Will the country be looking at what his stance or her stance will be when it comes to transformation in the judiciary?
In South Africa, the discussion about transformation can never be avoided. It will always loom large, and it will be something for the Chief Justice to take into account. But it is also important, I think it came out very well in the interview of President Maya, that we should be concerned first and foremost with the fact that we have good judges. We can, whilst we are trying to achieve the transformation objective, we can select from a great pool of judges of great diversity. And transformation and good quality judiciary can go hand in hand and must go hand in hand.
Right. Well, we leave it then. I appreciate your time this morning, Greta Engelbrecht. Thank you so much for sparing us your time this morning, talking about, of course, the critical role that lies ahead for the new incoming Chief Justice. We know the process is not done yet. Acting Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, of course, taking the hot seat this morning upon his, of course, interview. So make sure that you stay tuned to eNCA for that and more.